Welcome back to the Architectural Orthographic Instructional series. Having established the bones of our measured building, we will continue with the construction of the other views. In this instance, we will concentrate on the elevations. The first elevation we will complete is the easy one, being the short side. It is ostensibly the same as section A, though the line order and the line weight need to change slightly for the different architectural convention. The secondary detail and the final editing of the line work is not done until the end, because like the plans and sections, we are focused on developing the views quickly and simultaneously. As we work through the different orthographic views, we have the growing repertoire of drawings that we can use to project and to trace from. In this instance, we are working on what I am calling the rear elevation at the moment. By aligning the cross-section and the plan perpendicular to each other on the drawing board, we can start the rear elevation. We can help by laying down the long section in reverse, that is, we have flipped the tracing paper over to get a mirror view. Once we have done this, we can start the rear elevation by taping down a new sheet of tracing paper and then tracing and projecting the geometry to start getting our view. Elevation views can be a bit complicated, so it is best to build up the geometry progressively. Here, we are locating the main columns and the roof extents. Through editing, we clean up the geometries and then trace over the bits of the long section and project straight onto that view. We finish up with another pass on cleaning up the geometry, and we edit out some constructional line work and firm up the main outlines. We have showed the profile of the roof corrugations to give a hatched appearance to the roof and to make the elevation a little easier to read. When hatching the roof, we have drawn it accurately to the metal profile, as well as using a slightly thinner and lighter line style. We will follow the same process to generate the front elevation. With all the extra pergola-like elements along the front, this will be the most complicated of the views to construct, so building up the drawing progressively will be important to avoid confusion and mistakes. Through a process of projection, we establish the bones of the drawing. Neatening and firming up the line work before we add more construction will aid us to concentrate on the appropriate line work order. We will now focus on projecting and adding in the shaded fringe of the front elevation as per our site measurements and projections from the cross-section. Once the pergola fringe has been added, we can include some more subtle detail such as the roof patterns. Given the amount of line work in the front elevation, we have introduced a bit of depth cueing by drawing in the final detail of the roof patterns with a slightly lighter and thinner line weight. It is important to use such depth cues prudently, as in essence the pure orthographic conventions mean that we should not really show any depth cueing, but sometimes it is helpful in order to read the drawings a little easier. This ends our instructional covering elevations. It expanded on the process of creating orthographic drawings through projection and tracing and developing the drawings as a set quickly and almost in parallel.